Hey, I'm Scott, and I'm an American in Bangkok, Thailand. Yes, Thailand. Thailand, where in the beginning of 2020, they were ranked as one of the top countries in the world for the way that they handled the COVID-19 situation. However, now they are almost at the very bottom of the rankings. I'm speaking of the Nikkei Asia COVID-19 Recovery Index, where they calculated data from 120 countries worldwide. And guess what? Thailand ranked number 118, third from last. That is, oh, how the mighty have fallen. But before I get into this any further, please do me a favor. Smash that like button, click subscribe if you haven't done so already, hit the notification bell, leave a comment afterwards if you got something worthwhile to say. I'd really appreciate it. And check down in the description. There's a host of ways where you can help support the channel. The Nikkei Asia COVID-19 Recovery Index study combines data on the infection rate and management, social mobility, and vaccine rollouts, ranking a country higher as they edge closer to recovery by means of high vaccination rates, low COVID-19 infection rates, and how limiting COVID-19 safety measures are. Thailand, like Vietnam, had ranked at the top of the list in 2020 with strict lockdown and prevention measures, keeping COVID-19 outbreaks to a minimum. But 2020 brought an explosion of more contagious COVID-19 variants with surging infection numbers throughout the country. Coupled with the government's slow and haphazard piecemeal response, a bad bet on the Sinovac vaccine that is not very effective against new strains, and a governmental nationalism banking on domestic production of AstraZeneca vaccines mired by delays and now aiming to deliver half the original amount of vaccines, Thailand has failed to keep on top of the growing local pandemic. Listen, that's an understatement. I don't want to, rack up the fear in anybody. I'm not trying to be a fear monger or anything like this, but they could have done much, much better. And quite frankly, I would have thought that they would have done at least a little better than what they've showed so far. But let me go on here. The Office of the National Economic and Social Development Council reported that the lockdowns of 2020 shrunk the gross domestic product of Thailand by 6.1%, while the mishandling of the third wave of COVID-19 has brought record daily infections and the numbers dying each day comparable to the total deaths of 2020. Only 4.45% of the population has been fully vaccinated now, a far cry from the original promises of herd immunity and at least one vaccine for everyone in Thailand by October. Listen, I gotta say, I've been debating whether or not Thailand's going to open up in October with several other expats and guys who visit Thailand regularly, or whether things will be anywhere near normal by October. I am just a pessimist when it comes to their government, and really just about any other government for the most part. But just look at the track record, and therefore, if I was a gambling man, I would say I'm going to take the over, like far over. I'm going to say first quarter to mid 2022 before we start seeing any semblance of normalcy. But that's just me, and hey, I'm a layman. What do I know? I'm just making a semi-educated or uneducated guess. But let me go on here. Nikkei Asia quoted an observer as saying that the government couldn't wrap their heads around the enormity of the problem and lean towards political caution rather than medical caution when preparing a vaccine rollout, not wanting to overestimate and jump the gun on vaccine procurement. All I'm going to say about that is, you ever hear of the the phrase better safe than sorry. Another factor that keeps Thailand ranked low on the COVID-19 recovery list is the inequality of vaccine availability. Elderly, ailing people, and high-risk workers have struggled to find access to vaccines, while members of Thailand's rich elite HISO, who are responsible for much of the worst outbreaks, have been able to abuse connections and influence to get vaccinated ahead of people in dire need. Nikkei observed it as a much more visible example of the way Thailand commonly operates. Thank you, Nikkei. Good to see that somebody recognizes this outside of Thailand, outside of a few expats who know what's really going on. A wide social gap exists where the rich and influential are above the law and rules. All this led to Thailand's grand tumble from the top of the COVID-19 handling ranks to the bottom. Now listen to this, placing lower than Malaysia, Sri Lanka, Indonesia, the Philippines, and even India. Meanwhile, some early horror story countries at the beginning of the pandemic turned things around. The top 5 countries in order are China, Malta, Poland, Italy, and Austria. Israel, currently seeing some new outbreaks, is still ranked 9th, and the United States, which had previously accounted for more than a quarter of all COVID-19 in the world, now ranks number 27. So, the numbers don't lie. I've been saying for quite some time, what's the holdup with the vaccines? Now, I will say this. I know that several people over 60 who are waiting to get a Moderna shot, a Pfizer shot, something other than Sinovac, or Sinovac, however you want to pronounce it. I think it's Sinovac. They are unable to get it at this time. My wife just called me and said, honey, I had to leave. Oh, where are you going? Well, some people in the office are getting vaccinated. There apparently are extra doses available. So we are going to get in and see if the whole company can't get vaccinated today. Do you know which vaccine? No, I don't. Okay. My wife is not over 60. She's nowhere near 60. She also does not have any pre-existing conditions. I don't know what the problem is. I don't know if it's people just don't want to get the vaccine that was made by the CCP, either Sinovac or Sinopharm. I don't know if that's it, although I have been told that for many people this is just a no-go. They don't want to put that in their body. I have put one shot in me so far, and I go in another, about 3 weeks I go in and get the follow-up, and I can tell you I am waiting for that Moderna to come so that I can get a booster approximately 3 months after my second shot. All this could have been avoided had they placed the orders in the very beginning. Hindsight is 20/20, but I think in this case it would have been best to have vision that was perfect versus vision that's abysmal. And that's the situation we're in right now. We are in an abysmal situation here in Thailand. That's all I have. Once again, please do me a favor, click like, subscribe, leave a comment, let me know what you think. It is important. I'd like to know what other people think. And share this video. And also, if you want a shirt, get a shirt. Merch down below in the description. Everything's down there below in the description. Until next time, I'm Scott. I'm an American in Bangkok. Chok di leo jerken mai. That's good luck. See you later.